It's the latest social media challenge raising safety concerns. People riding on an upside-down folding table tied to a moving vehicle. Now, a 17-year-old in Pennsylvania is charged with involuntary manslaughter after the stunt turned deadly. Prosecutors say the teen was driving in a parking lot when his friend, 17-year-old David Nagy, who was sitting on the table, was killed.
Unfortunately, the juvenile driver recklessly operated his vehicle at a significant speed, such that it whipped the rider sitting on the table into another parked vehicle.
In a separate case in Pennsylvania, a 19-year-old is accused of aggravated assault. Prosecutors claim she drove her car while her friend stood on the trunk as part of another social media challenge. The friend fell and suffered permanent brain damage.
Ultimately, it becomes a serious issue of public safety when children engage in these dangerous stunts.
In recent years, stunts involving cars have been on the rise, many resulting in death or injury. Platforms like TikTok are now banning videos of so-called car surfing, posting this message saying some online challenges can be dangerous, disturbing, or even fabricated. Learn how to recognize harmful challenges so you can protect your health and well-being. But some potentially dangerous trends are still easily viewed on the app. This content creator narrowly escaped disaster showing off his Cadillac. It rolled away as he struggled to open the door. Fortunately, no one was nearby and the car stopped on its own. Authorities urge parents to talk to their kids about these stunts.
What's up, everybody? You're tuned in to another episode of Off the Yard. I'm your host, Big Lance, and today we're talking about TikTok trends, man, and how they can get you locked up, incarcerated, or even up out of here. So pop the popcorn, put them kids to bed, and let's go, baby.
Gladiator game, gladiator game, gladiator, gladiator, gladiator game. I'm Big Lance. I'm Big Lance.
Man, there's a misconception between these kids out here, dude, that they think that they have to do all the things that they see on these TikToks and the TikTok tip tops and all the things, bro. But here's the problem: by trying so hard to please the masses, by trying so hard to go viral and videotape all the stupid shit that we do as kids, a lot of these children are getting hurt. And it's irresponsible, man, and just really, really, really heinous, in my opinion, to see these apps not be held accountable. Listen, I'm a YouTube content creator. This is what I do, man. But at the same time, I don't try to promote anything that would harm anybody, right? Now, you have to be vigilant with it, man, because you got young people who watch this. Hollywood and all that stuff, that's a thing of the past. These kids are looking up to content creators. These kids are looking up to each and every one of these people that get on here, hit their phone, hit their camera, press record, and then go out here and just do the most retarded stuff that they can think. We have to be more accountable, guys. And down here in Northampton County, the district attorney's office has announced charges against 2 teenagers involved in dangerous TikTok driving trends. The first case, a driver, 17, accused of using a rope to tie an upside-down folding table to the back of his automobile, then pulling that table through the parking lot while his juvenile male friend, also age 17, reportedly rode sitting on top of the table. Let's dive into this one first. I'm a 70s baby, right? So I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Let me tell you, I did this very same thing, but I did it on a skateboard. All right, back in the day, Pal Peralta, right, would make skateboard videos. I'm sure some of you guys remember these. Now, we would hang on to the back of these cars and get pulled down the street on a skateboard. Have you ever gone 30 miles an hour on a skateboard? You get to going 30, 40 miles an hour, the board starts to wobble, right? And I remember a specific incident. How could I forget it? I was in a hospital for almost a month. I'm hanging on the back of this car. He's going too fast. I'm like, yo, slow down. I'm holding on, because I'm going so fast. And I ended up hitting a rock The skateboard stopped abruptly. I was thrown from the board, no shirt on, no helmet, no pads. I landed on my back and skidded about 10 to 15 feet, bare-backed on the asphalt. My back was shredded, man. Shredded. They had to take skin from other parts of my body and put it on my back, man. This was very stupid. Right? Very stupid. The kids were doing this. So it started a long time ago. This is not something new. The problem is now our stupidity is broadly publicized now. We are getting our stupidity broadcasted throughout the world in seconds. In seconds, guys. Your child could see something, and next thing you know, he's hanging on the back of a bumper. Now, this kid's been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Probably going to be tried as an adult. He's 17 years old. I was tried as an adult at 17. What's going to happen to this kid in prison, you ask, right? Well, I'm going to tell you a little story real quick about a dude who was charged in a vehicular homicide case. This kid was 17 years old. And no, I'm sorry, this kid, the driver of this car was actually 18 years old, 18 or 19. He had a 17-year-old girlfriend. He had two of his 16, 17-year-old friends. They were all just high school kids, man. Yes, he was 18. Yes, he was an adult. Yes, his girlfriend was 17. Bro, come on, that's not chomoing. There needs to be a line drawn. Unfortunately, in the prison system, it is what it is. You get convicted of a crime at 19 years old, but messing with a 17-year-old, you're going to have to check in, bro. Sometimes we kind of look, beyond it, but at the most part, man, it gives people an excuse to be violent with each other. And it gives people an excuse to be political and let's make them check in. Knowing damn well when y'all was 18 years old, you were smashing all 17 years old. 17-year-olds, so stop that, bro. Stop that. Anyway, they're out having a good time. They're drunk, smoking some weed, man. Having a good time like most of us have in our lives. He gets in a really bad car accident and kills everybody in that car, including his girlfriend. I was in the pod when they brought this kid in. They brought him into a max pod, guys. Why did they bring him to a max pod? Because he's charged with vehicular homicide. What did I tell you in the last video? They don't care. They care not about little Johnny's attributes. They don't care about nothing good that he's ever done. All they see is a number, a case file, a charge, and that's it. That's what they're going to go off of, man. So what is it that, is going to separate him from the real monsters in the units, in his max pod, such as myself at the time? I'm a grown ass in my 30s, gang banging, hustling, streetwise convict, and you put this 18, 19-year-old kid in there with me? Now, if I'm any less of a man, what am I going to do? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take from him, which a lot of guys try to do. Well, this dude was a little white boy, man. We kind of took him under the wing. We knew he wasn't like a piece of shit, so we didn't let nothing happen to him, just so y'all know. But there's not always going to be that case. But they gave this boy I think it was 10 years or something. 10 years, man. Now, what do you think they're going to do to this kid? As publicized as this shit is, now they got to make an example out of him. What do you think is going to happen? Spam it up in the comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen to him when he goes to jail. What is his family going to have to deal with? What kind of backlash? It seems like it's a small community, a small town, something like that. What type of backlash is his mom and dad going to face when they go up into the food line to try to buy groceries? Are they going to run into the other parent of this kid? Think about it. That's going to be awkward. Yo, my bad. Sorry about my kid being a dipshit. But in reality, it ain't their kid's fault. It's both of their fault. They're both 17. It ain't like the kid was 17, 18 and took some little 10-year-old, talked him into doing some dumb shit and unalived. And that's not how it went down. These two idiots were trying to get viral on TikTok. Come on, man. To me, man, the way that society's going and the way content creators are just reckless with what they do. What about the chick that made the homeless lady dive up into off the dock that didn't know how to swim? And this woman almost died. And when she jumped into the water, the chick laughed, didn't give her her money, and ran off. Left the woman splashing around in a lake. Thank God there were some people around or she wouldn't be here no more. And this dumb bitch thought it was funny. I don't know. It really gets under my skin just how stupid these people are, man. And I'll be honest with you, guys are real bad at it, but women are the worst. Because women have this, or chicks in their mind, have always got to keep up with each other. Women, let me explain something to you, okay? I'll explain something to you from a man's point of view, okay? When you guys are doing all the things, the extensions in your hair, and I'm a boss bitch, and blah, 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 the only people you're impressing are other dumb bitches like yourself. Dudes don't care about that stuff. Men don't care about any of that. The only people you're in competition with are other chicks. Other insecure, lonely, angry, spiteful women who can't figure out why they can't get a good man. Well, maybe for one, because you're blasting all of your bullshit on social media. Two, because when you do go and check a lot of these women's social media accounts, you see nothing but hateful, spiteful comments towards men. Are there any good men out there? But see, here we go. I got a 10-year-old daughter, man, and I don't want her growing up like that. I don't want her thinking there aren't any good guys out there. There's plenty of good guys out there. It's just, you have to understand that once you stop competing with these other women, the men will come around. For real. They don't care about that stuff, man. They're not, the only person that you're hurting is yourself. So, speaking of that, the men are not the only ones being retarded on TikTok. Let's go. In the same town, okay, a 19-year-old female driver allegedly operated her vehicle while her 20-year-old female friend stood on the trunk. Oh, Pennsylvania, what you got going on, man? Is there something in the water? Gosh, man, like, so I'm a 17-year-old driver. Involuntary manslaughter charges were brought. And you know what they did? They did it in their high school parking lot. Where were the teachers, man? Where's the, when I was a kid, you couldn't do shit like this in the parking lot. They had like security guards and shit like that, man. I don't know what's going on. In separate incident, in March, this happened. 19-year-old female allegedly operated vehicles that stood on the trunk. We just talked about that, but let's see what happens to her. This challenge involved the friends surfing on the back of a moving vehicle as they drove through the park and ride parking lot on William Penn Highway. Unfortunately, the friend was thrown from the moving vehicle and received catastrophic head injuries that will be permanent in nature. The 19-year-old driver is facing charges including aggravated assault by vehicle, careless driving, and persons hanging on a vehicle. So aggravated assault, let me tell you something, guys. I was charged with aggravated assault. This is the same charge that I got charged with for literally assaulting somebody. The things that you do, they have consequences, guys. You know, and I know there's not a lot of young people that watch my channel. But if you're a parent and you have a teenager, make sure you're watching out what they're doing. And make sure that you're keeping an eye on the type of trends that they're sitting around with their goofy ass friends laughing about. Because this is the world we live in. Unfortunately, a lot of us are dinosaurs and we are not really hip to all the things that our kids are doing. How could you be? It's impossible. You cannot like clock every movement because there's too much shit against us as parents. Have conversations with them. And hey man, who am I to give parental advice? All I'm saying is just have conversations with them. Try to learn about them. It's real easy to stick that phone, that iPad, that computer, laptop, whatever, in front of your kid and go off and do your thing because you're getting a little peace and quiet. But here we go with the repercussions of those actions. When you ignore and you are evasive as a parental figure, this is what you get. And this is no good. This is no good, man. You know, these kids they're going to be, at best case scenario, they're going to be convicted felons. I don't know much about them. Maybe they were straight A students. Maybe they were great. Maybe they're on a roll. Maybe they were going somewhere in life. Maybe they had plans, goals, and dreams and aspirations. Guess what? That's dead. That's dead, bro. Because them people are going to give you your time in prison. They're going to take their robe off and they go home and act like it didn't even happen. They don't care, man. So, understand that the lack of parental supervision is creating these trends. Because there's no reason why a kid should think that it's a good idea to get a table, tie it to a truck, speed around in a parking lot. I like to send my prayers to the families of the kids that were hurt. Nothing funny about it. There's nothing good's going to come from that. I would also like to extend my prayers and thoughts and condolences to the families of the people who are now going to be facing felonious charges in court. This is probably a whole new realm for these people. Now, let me explain something as far as we all as people in society, different levels of financial demographic, we live different lives, right? The Rothschilds live a way different life than the Moores, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is these people probably have no clue, no idea, have no understanding of how the court system's getting ready to fuck their kids. No diddy. They're not. They really probably believe that the criminal justice system is good and positive, and they're going to help us out. They're going to help us navigate through this. No, they're not. They're not going to help you navigate through shit unless you got a ton of money. So that being said, man, I guess what they should have probably done was have stayed up, stay out, and as always, stay sucker free, baby. Much love to the Gladiator Gang. Salute to all the A1s from day one, man. Hope you liked the video. Make sure you keep an eye on your kids, man, because shit can go south real fast. Until the next time, y'all. Hey, let's go.
Locked in a cage.